calmly walked away to the bathroom, but I was burning inside. I was so angry at myself. So I spent there a couple of minutes trying to calm down. I came back, and I was looking from afar. He did not pick up the move. That was a massive relief. Also, a similar story is this very famous game of Magnus Carlsen playing his World Championship match versus Vishy Anand. I keep forgetting, was this match number 1 or 2, because they played 2 matches back in 2013 or 2014. And Magnus played this very famous King D2 versus King D1 move. Game 6 versus Khan Sicilian. I don't remember which match it was. Carlsen was white, Anand was black. And Magnus blundered. So he plays this King D1, and he immediately sees he is blundered. He sees it. I mean, he basically froze. Like, he put down the pen, and he tries to put up a poker face. Anand was sitting there for a good 30 seconds. He did not realize it's a blunder. He played something else, and Magnus just collapsed on the board. He was like this. And Anand realized immediately that he had missed an opportunity, because there was no need for Magnus to hide his emotions anymore. So the thing is, it's very hard to notice something from, for example, from Anand's perspective, something in a position that was not there move before. So there was a tiny difference in Magnus's move that made all the difference in the world. Anand did not pick it up. Why? I think he was in simply worse position, so he was trying to defend it, and he did not see this resource. But as soon as Magnus collapsed on the board, I'm pretty sure he saw it. He immediately saw it. Genius level like Anand, they see it immediately. So Levy right now, he's not thinking. He's just trying to calm down. Because he saw Bishop G2, he sensed there were some problems. And now up to Bishop E4, he's like, okay, listen. It's okay. Okay, maybe the position is still not really that great. It's okay. It's okay. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Alright. Now that he's gonna calm down for a couple of minutes, how to continue? Now that you have survived the worst, do you take on E4? I suppose you do. The bishop is useless on D3. D takes on E4 is not dangerous. Rook E4 is ridiculous, so it's gotta be knight E4. How about knight E4 here? And we looked at this line, bishop E1, knight G5, which is very crazy. So I'm not sure this is gonna happen. How about Stefano plays rook E4? But now the game continues. So Levy could play rook E2. Again, the bar doesn't like my choices. For example, you cannot take on C4. The rook at E4 is hanging. If you play rook E8, there's some serious pressure, but I suppose white is gonna somehow hold on. Maybe there's a better move. How about rook D1? Rook E3 could be a move. Takes. And I was looking for some complications, but maybe there are none. Yeah, I quite don't see, by the way, and these pawns are under attack. So Levy just played a move. What? Rook E2. Oh, wow.
Wonder if this is any good to eat.
There goes my beautiful speech out of the window. Apparently it's another mistake. Oh, wow. Well. Maybe it's different. Maybe Levy is just so unhappy about the position that he did not treat bishop e4 as a missed opportunity. He still thinks his position is very bad. What about rook d8 here? Engine doesn't like it. Rook d8 looks very human. There could be d takes on c4 as well. Queen c4, I suppose. I'm seeing some checks on f5. There could be moves like b5. Queen c6, rook c8, hit the knight on c3, up the queen d3. Oh. Okay. This is... It's just not working at the moment for Levy. Somehow he makes the wrong choices. I do not see though what's so terribly bad with his position, but we are gonna see. But what is it, by the way? So the agent here says stuff like, I see the bar, it's way down, so black is so much better. It doesn't feel like it, so there must be something very concrete. A rook d8 makes sense. I mean, this looks very logical move, like rook d8, c takes on d5, knight takes on d5, knight takes on d5, a rook d5, and just remove the queen. Why this should be so bad? Rook d8 maybe. But where's the big advantage? Where's the big advantage? I mean, bishop c3, I don't buy it because it gives up the powerful bishop. So my attention from black's perspective would be on the moves like rook d8, maybe knight e4 is a move. Knight e4. Now it feels okay. I mean, d takes on e4, queen d4 is a move. Rook d1. Or maybe remove the queen. I quite do not see.
My fingers feel numb.
Maybe there's some knight h5 ideas like hit the pawn on g3, but that just makes no sense. Because I think this pawn can be defended. Alright. The viewers, how you're feeling about the turn of events. It's up and down so far in this game. Lever is a bit suffering. He somehow is not feeling this position. A bit slow with choices. He gambled a bit. It's backfired. The game obviously still continues. The Silicon base quite doesn't like the position. So here apparently this was the good move. Bishop e4, knight e4, and knight e4. Maybe it's not so obvious, but here it seems like there's a massive compensation. Maybe Levy could argue that this is like playing two complex decisions in a good position, but his position is not good. So we are gonna see, but this is trouble. Let's hope that everything is gonna work out in the end for Levy.
Come on. Waste of damn time.
Let me see your questions. By the way, let me check what is this engine's idea. I'm gonna switch on the engine. I'm
Turned
not
out pretty
using
well.
it of this bishop g2. So engine was saying bishop g2 was the move. So where was it? So bishop g2 was, according to an engine, the best move. I kind of saw it, but I couldn't understand what happens here. Takes, 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 queen c3 and queen c2. Why this should be so bad? So engine says queen a5. Decline the queen trade. If I would play king b2, get the queen on c3. Engine's got a couple of continuations. For example, rook d8. With the idea to meet queen c3 with queen b6. Again, decline the queen trade. And white is suffering. White is not lost. White is suffering. Queen d3. I just saw a move. There was no move. No move. There could be some problems with this queen f5 check in some lines and collect the pawn on h3. I also slightly don't like the body language of Levy. He doesn't look like he... I mean, okay. What's there to like, but... Unfortunately, it seems like the classical two mistakes in a row. So, mistake number one was g3. Maybe not so obvious. So here he had to play e4. I assume he didn't like white something. Here, suddenly things get more complex. Bishop g2 was a very strong move. I know. Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this in our training sessions. When you feel you just committed a mistake, you need to calm down. Take a break. Breathe. It's a very dangerous ground. This moment when you made a mistake, you're vulnerable. But it's so easy to say and so difficult to do. Where you're just unhappy the way you are playing the game. You do not like the position. Because everybody is such a great expert when it comes to choosing between good combinations. This is great, better endgame, extra pawn, nice attack, looks beautiful, etc. So you're like, okay, I mean, what I'm gonna choose from these? I'm looking so great in all of them. And there's the other side. How do you make the objectively best move in a position that just looks bad? Like, how do you choose between much worse endgame, a position which is equal down a pawn, a position where your king is exposed, a position which just looks outright ugly?
Oragel knows that oral pain keeps you from feeling like yourself. So reach for the #1 oral pain relief brand and get immediate, targeted, long-lasting relief. Oragel. Feel like you again.
BK's new fiery menu, 5 items, 5 levels, so you can do you. Level 1's like, level 5's a bit, woo. It's fiery, and BK, have it your way.
Special. White's gonna play queen c2, trade on c5, d5, play king b2, queen c3 on b. Okay. So for Levy, maybe this was not the case, and he thought that bishop e4 was the best move. So he didn't realize that here he should have stopped and calmed down. And he missed something here from black. Let me now check what it was that apparently Stefano was supposed to play. It was d takes on c4. It was d takes on c4. And where's the idea? The idea of queen c4, dear viewers, is exactly this idea, queen f5. So, for example, queen c3, I suppose it's queen f5 check and take on h3. So the game could continue like here. Queen h3, rook e1, knight e4. Black is just up a pawn. The game would have continued, but this was the big idea that the young Italian player could have done. Like, I'm not sure what's the move order. Like, take on c4, bishop c3, or bishop c3, take on c4. Maybe this is more accurate. But again, bishop c3 most likely is going to be queen c3. Oh, wait, queen c3 and knight e4. Oh, yuck. So you have to play bishop e1 and d takes, b takes. Oh my goodness. Oh, shit. Black is going to play something like rook d3, rook d8, f5, beautiful knight on e4, sad bishop on e1. Dream position for black. Not lost. Oh, but it just feels lost, to be honest. That would be really bad. So Stefano missed here. Knight e4, d takes on e4 was played. So he saw something else. And typically when people are missing things is when something else is taking away their attention. So for Stefano, it was very difficult to notice d takes bishop c3, queen f5 because he was so preoccupied to control d4 square. So that's why he didn't even look at something else, because he had something like knight e4. This is something we are going to talk about with Levy quite a bit. That when you are so focused on some things, it's very important to be open-minded and see what is around you, something else. Look for more. Because it's very easy. It's like a magician. Yeah, this is the current position, by the way. It's like for a magician. The magician is showing you, you're looking right here. I'm showing you a trick. Well, actually, he's doing something in the background. And you're not seeing what he's doing in the background because you're focused on what I'm moving in my hands. So in chess, sometimes it's also like that. Is that you should be very focused on the other things as well. Queen d4, Levy's position still looks not great. Yeah, not the best game so far for Levy. I'm not sure what else he could have done. So queen d4 makes perfect sense. Maybe queen c2, but queen c2 would have been rook d8, rook d3. Would have been just suffering. So rook d1, queen d1, rook d8, queen c2. I mean, how can you go here? It just looks very bad. No counterplay. Black is dominating. Beautiful rook and d3. Fantastic pieces. So Levy wants to organize some counterattack with a checkmate threat. f6 is on the board. Now rook d8 is something he needs to be countering. This is also a very big test to Levy. Like we already discussed, on the road to the Grandmaster title, not always things will go your way. Sometimes you're gonna get bad positions. Sometimes you're gonna play underrated opponents. Sometimes you'll just make bad moves. So the lesson here is to how do you continue from here? So it's important not to make a bad position a tragedy, a bad situation to a disaster. You need to find the strength, calm down, and start to play from this position. Chess is a huge psychological game. So Levy is right now under a tremendous stress. He knows he's in trouble. So he needs to find the strength to salvage this game. It's not a very appealing thought. especially when things are not going your way in the tournament. Last 3 games, he was missing chances. And you are looking at a prospect. Yeah, okay, if I'm gonna lead the perfect defense here, the position sucks, it's really bad. Then maybe I'm gonna make another draw. But what choice there is? It's either this or a loss. So this is also a very, very important moment to Levy. Calm down, remember some of the training, and learn to defend bad positions. This is something we haven't yet really talked so much about, how to defend bad positions, what might be the techniques, but we have talked about some of those moments, at least briefly, and the idea here is that you start to treat this position from scratch. This is the position, right here. Work it out. Don't you think what was before? So my proposition is play queen d7, hit the pawn on b7. Make sure the queen is not trapped, like rook d8. I suppose take on b7. And looks very scary. It looks very scary, but you mean you gotta calculate some things like rook e7, queen c6, the queen escapes. So you want to make sure that white is not dropping the queen. There's at least queen a6, queen a4, he's alive, so it's okay. So after queen b7, Levy have to make sure that queen is getting out. There's always maybe some a3 ideas, like queen c6 ideas. Check a couple of moves. If he survives, this is okay. So queen d7, most likely rook e7 will be played. You see the rook in e7 is protected by the bishop on b4. Only legal move, queen g4, unless he wants to go back to d1. And yeah, the queen is awkward here. There could be some problems with moves like queen d8 and queen d3. And maybe Levy is just in time to rearrange the pieces. Or something like f5. No, f5 makes no sense. It opens up the long diagonal. g6, queen h6. This is even a problem. I'm not sure if this makes any sense. There's queen g6, so I wouldn't play that. Unless there's something more concrete. So Levy is worse, but he's holding on. But he needs to mainly calm down. Queen d7, hit the pawn, calculate, and then retreat to g4. Yeah, as Orbe says on Twitch chat, keeping the nerve is really difficult. It is one of the biggest problems to Levy so far. At least before he returned to competitive chess, spiraling out of control, this was Levy's biggest problem. And yet, like I already said, these moments are bound to happen. This is where he should find strength. Calm down. If he wants to become a Grandmaster, he needs to find this strength, this mental strength, to battle your inner demons. Calm down and work it out. He knows this. He's thinking about this right now. Maybe not so much about the actual position, but just calm down and work it out. But it is very stressful. I'm probably repeating myself for a million times, but I think it's very critical here, the next couple of moves. So maybe he can afford to spend a bit more time, like 10, 15 minutes. It's fine. Just needs to not make things much worse than they are right now. Also, think about the longer perspective. Moments like these, for example, if Levy is gonna succeed, and I hope he's gonna succeed, and escape here, is gonna give you some confidence. Because so far it was terrible, he was in trouble, and if you manage to escape here, it should give you confidence. I can survive these positions. That Levy managed to overcome this psychologically dangerous position. Oh my goodness. Sub-Zero says on Twitch. Oh, sorry, YouTube. Great insight, coach. Thank you. You are truly an I am. Really? Last time I checked, I'm a GM. But as I understand, you sincerely meant it. So, thank you. I'm truly a GM, but... Oh my goodness. I'm sure you're trolling me. Let me see. Let me see what you are else writing there. The kid is good. But I mean, again, at this level, everybody's good. You want to become a Grandmaster, you have to beat these guys. You want to be a Grandmaster, you have to beat other Grandmasters. But again, mistakes are bound to happen. Let me see what else is happening here. Committee 7 here. Stefano is checking if he can trap the queen. He already made a mistake once. He can make it again. Keep faith.
Too much stuff to carry.
You know, I also would like to say one thing. Is that being true supporters of somebody, I think the most important moment to support somebody is when they are having difficulties. You know, and I really mean it. When you are following your favorite, whatever, sportsman, or like Levy here on this occasion, somebody you're following and he's doing great, everyone's like, yay, hooray, you're doing well. That is cool. So it's called support. You're liking, you're cheering for their successes, etc. But when they are doing badly, there's so many people, unfortunately, who are like, hey, you're so bad, etc. How can you, lame, etc. A true support for somebody is when you are with him when they're not doing great. Yeah, I've seen this so many times in sports. Yeah, if your favorite team who are a sportsman is doing badly, sometimes people tend to criticize them. But that's why I mean, support the player, support your team, even though they're doing badly. When they don't have everything going their way, that's a true support. All right. Listen! Yeah, I just noticed. Dear YouTube chat, I see that some of you are trying to spam. I see that some of you are trying to post funny comments. This is not healthy. I thought we were past it yesterday. Like yesterday we had some very bad behavior on YouTube chat. Don't do that. Okay? So otherwise at some point the worst thing could happen is Levy is not gonna stream on YouTube anymore. Or we're simply gonna shut off the commentary. Not the commentary. I hope the commentary is still gonna continue. The comments. You will be unable to follow the coverage live. Just watch with no comments. Just be nice. Alright? Respect Levy. Respect the opponents. Respect the community. And there's no need to misbehave. All right. Just a second. Alright, let me see if I have an actual question instead of some spamming comments. Queen D7, by the way, Stefano is still thinking about his choices. So it's not so clear for the young Italian. He's playing pretty great game so far. Let me see. Still thinking. Orbe on Twitch says, I've survived worse positions. Sure. It's part of the road. It's alright.
Bleed out soon.
Let's see what else. Not much is happening at the moment, so Levy has 26 minutes, slightly more for Stefano. Queen H5, there you go. Apparently it's a missed opportunity. Why? I'm not sure actually. So here Stefano hits the Rook on E2 and maybe in some lines also the pawn on H3. I felt actually Rook E7 was a very logical move. So now after Queen H5, I think Levy has ideas like
Fade.
maybe G4 is a move, Queen G4 is a move, so it's still okay. Queen G4 I slightly don't like it, because then essentially Levy loses any counterplay. But if you ask me, there's something quite not right about this move. It just felt that Rook E7 was much more logical. So I wouldn't really play queen g4 here. Like, takes, and rook d8. If somebody's calling the shots, it's black. He controls the file. Rook d3 is incoming. Maybe it's still okay, like a3, king c2, rook d1, and Levy survives. Those pawns maybe are not big weaknesses, but I would probably do something else. Maybe play g4. The point is, after g4, you keep the queen on d7. Maybe queen takes on h3 is a problem.
Someone's stash.
And now play rook e7. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I mean, I wanted to put the rook on g2, maybe push g5. Yeah, it doesn't look very likely that Levy's gonna do it. Yeah, and by the way, queen g4 is played. So Levy protects the rook here, offers the trade. So at the moment, he's just trying to hang on. Levy's doing pretty good. So he's slowly climbing out. And the queen trades on the board. I think now we are gonna get a couple of quick moves like rook d8, king c2, and then Levy is gonna get rid of the bishop with a3. Am I proud of Levy? I am. Everything has been working a bit tough in this tournament, so that's why I said, yeah, I mean, so far the first two tournaments for Levy, they were very successful. And the people immediately started to treat that every single tournament immediately is going to go Levy's way. But not always. Not always. Rook d8 is on the board. I think king c2 also will be played. So Levy is slightly worse, but he can still salvage. How did I meet Levy in real life? I have addressed this a couple of times. When I was in Las Vegas, I was doing my US chess tour back in 2019 with Igor Kovlenko, who was at the time number one Latvian player. Then we were visiting a couple of cities. We were playing in Las Vegas and also St. Louis, in St. Louis Chess Club. We played in Summer Chess Classic 2019. And there I met Levy. Yeah, he was playing in the National Open, which is one of the most important open tournaments in the United States. I like that we're playing in one of the casinos in Vegas. I already don't remember which one. So, yeah, Levy was not yet, at the time, a content creator, not least a big one. I had coached his friend, Alex Ostrovsky. We talked a bit and we parted ways. And after that, we had a couple of online discussions. We have a channel open because of our partnership with chess.com. And this is where I approached him about a potential coaching just as he released his very first video on the GM road. A3 is played. Yeah, sure, why not? It's okay move. And then play king c2, I suppose. Maybe also in some lines he can put the bishop on d4. No Nomi on Twitch is asking, what would I play in this position? I would probably try to salvage first the position. Make sure it's not becoming worse. Don't think too much about the future, how am I going to win this position. There's no discussion at the moment how Levy is going to win it. He has to survive. He has to limit the damage. And then hope for the best. All right. So Stefano is choosing where to retreat. I'm not really sure if he has any other diagonal than this a3 fa diagonal, because he can't keep the bishop here. It's going to be kicked away. So most likely here Stefano is going to play something like bishop f8, king c2, rook d3. Let me just try to model a situation here. Let's say bishop f8. Maybe king c2. Rook d... Oh, sorry. I'm not going to bond the rook. Rook d3. Can I play rook d1? My idea was rook d8, rook d2. Doesn't feel so bad.
Lost to everyone.
Take stakes. Take stakes.
They lost. They went 0-8.
Maybe play a 5 drops the pawn on g3.
They went so NIP went 0-8 in the Ascension group. And in
Might
the
be
LPL,
some
the Ascension
problems
group
at
is
the king
basically
side.
The top 9 teams play against each other, and they lost every single series against the top teams. Then they went to play against the Knights group. It's called the Knights group, and they played against a rare Atom.
So bishop
who
f8.
was the top of the bottom group, and they beat them, and then they got into playoffs. Very weird.
Can
format.
Levy play something like bishop d4 here? Stopping this? Yeah, but black
Alright,
could always
or
play
first pick for
c5.
JDG.
Or even I was thinking
be
bishop
top.
a3, rook
Could be
a2.
mid. Photic slams in his Ezreal. MF Ban is really good against Photic. Leyan, very good Nidalee player. Very good Nidalee player.
Bishop b4, rook a7.
What's up, Louis? Yeah, the loser's out, yeah. Chat.
Rook
wait,
d4
I
and
think if
e3.
JDG
Oh
lose,
my
they're
goodness.
still in...
You shouldn't miss that. Yeah, this is unpleasant. Bishop f8 is played. Yeah, this rook d3 will be really hard to counter. Such an annoying piece. Maybe just ignore the rook on d3. Like, if you can't combat it, ignore it. Like, king c2, rook d3. Play something like b4, rook d8 on bishop c3. I just said. It's not great. But what can you do? Maybe play something like rook b1, activate this rook. Black is pushing. But the position might be holdable. What can you do? Maybe play something like rook b1, activate this rook. Black is pushing. But the position might be holdable. Alright. There was a question if Levy has lost any rating points so far. Yes, he has lost like 4 points at the moment. So it's not ideal. He's struggling a bit, yeah. Also, he played. I mean, probably it's. There was a question if Levy has lost any rating points so far. Yes, he has lost like 4 points at the moment. So it's not ideal. He's struggling a bit, yeah. Also, he played. I mean, probably it's somewhere deep in his mind. He has missed victory in the second round versus Anai, this Ecuadorian player. He had a couple of winning chances. If he had won the game, it would have been differently. Okay, what's done is done. Then in round 3, he was facing this young Indian kid, 15 years old or 16, maybe 15, not sure. And he was playing some fantastic chess, positional chess. And also in this game, he's playing against a young talent from Italy who is 2200. It is what it is. You know, I can't exactly, no, maybe not exactly like this, but a pretty similar story once when I was playing in World Championships, World Youth Championships under 16, and I was rated below 2400. That was the moment when I had my peak. I was becoming a good player. And I was playing against guys like there was this one young guy from India. His name was Pentala Harikrishna. He was 2200, and I was almost 24. I thought I'm gonna beat him easily. So I was with white, and Pentala just smashed me off the board positionally. I was just not there, not present. After the next rating came in, Hare Krishna was 2500, and he would become a super GM, one of the best Indian grandmasters. One of the games I was playing against Bahadur Jabava, who was 23 something, below me. I thought I beat Bahadur the previous time. I'm gonna do it again. Bahadur again beat me. After that, Bahadur would become 27th level player. And there were more examples like this. The entire tournament of underrated players. And this is especially true to the youth chess. They are progressing very quickly, very fast. That's why you never know. It's not quite the same. So for example, you're playing against somebody who has been sitting at 2200 for the entirety of his life. Or you're playing a youngster. You never know what's his actual strength, especially if this youngster comes from India. And Stefano is currently at his peak. He's a very nice, solid player, playing some pretty good chess. So this is not his ceiling. Maybe he is already playing at 2400. So we don't know. Right. Tough choice. Well, Levy, he's trying to figure out how to deal with this rook d3. No counterplay. Maybe he has to do something with the g5 push. Like, can he play g5 now? I mean, to have at least some sort of a counterplay. Like, g5 takes, and you have some ideas here. Like rook d3, king c2. And yeah, but there's bishop c5. Hitting the pawn. I was hoping I'm gonna be just in time to organize something here. I don't know, rook f5, rook e5, something. So this g5 idea might be a move. King c2, by the way, was just played by Levy. That's a move he needs to make. Mad Malkov is asking on Twitch, what would be the correct approach to this endgame? Try to trade or trade to keep pieces? I'm not sure. Because I think that Levy needs to decide what to do with the rook on d3. Attempt to trade it, both rooks, and then suffer the bishop endgame, or just ignore it. Maybe make it as complex as possible. So, for example, by the way, there's no guarantees that he's even going to get rid of the rook from the d3, because black can just... Oh wait, takes, rook d8 is rook d2. So he might take it. Black would activate a king somewhere here. Maybe play king e2, king g6 with h5 ideas. King f2, h5. G takes, king h5. King g2, king g4. a4, bishop c5, bishop c1. Does it look great? No. But I'm attempting to build up a fortress. So black still needs to find a way to crash through. I think Levy should do something like this. So, again, after rook d3, play rook d1. If the trade, then there's the line. Now play rook d2. Takes, 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 takes. Yeah, there's some problems because of these pawns, but I'm hoping it's not enough. So king f7, king g6, h5, and now play something like a4, king g4, put the bishop on d4. Okay, maybe black could have played bishop c5 immediately, like here. Where was this? a4, bishop c5.
I don't feel so good.
Bishop c1 or bishop c3, king g4, and do nothing. Do nothing. What I have talked with Levy... Whoa, c5? Wow.
Oh, come on.
c5? That is such a weird move. Why would you close your own bishop and put the pawn on the dark squares in color of your bishop? That makes no sense. I think Levy's like, what? You know, one of our previous rounds, we were having a strategy versus the young Indian kid. What was his name? Sumar.
But I'll make it.
Shaikh Sumar Arsh. I think that was his name. A very nice, talented guy. Strong guy, young guy. And my suggestion was that since he comes from India, Levy should play as positional as possible. Try to go for an endgame if possible. And then in an endgame, outplay his opponent.
That's smart.
And it was working until a certain moment. You know why? Because there's a saying even in... it basically comes from the Soviet chess school. So it is that take the youngster to the endgame. Why is this? Because endgames are a different world. Things look completely different when in
My
endgames.
feet.
So you can study openings, you can play some middle game, but in idea, the theory is that the young players do not really have a lot of experience when it comes to just a few pieces on the board. And why is this? Because the quality of the moves is much more important. You make a small inaccuracy in the opening, who cares? You can always go for an attack or something,
Come on.
and it's very difficult to exploit. But if
Are
you
you serious?
make a small inaccuracy in an endgame, it can be felt. So it's a different world. And the idea here is that the young players might not have enough experience because, again, the younger they are, the less chance they had to play those endgames, to study those positions. So in case you're new to chess, chess can be divided in 3 parts: openings, middle game, main game. So if most of your games finish after the opening and middle game, you don't get a lot of games. Like, for example, I'm speaking like theoretically, I have no idea what is Stefano's level when it comes to the end games, but in theory, imagine this. So somebody like Stefano, he has played over the board, for example, 200 games. He's still young, he's a young promising player. Out of these 200 games, let's say 180 games finish in the middle game. So this means he really had a chance to practice endgames in only 20 games. There's no practice. So that's why there's the saying that you should take the youngsters to the endgames when you are more experienced, because they might have difficulties in those positions. Now, if this is going to be the case here, I do not know. Because so far, Stefano has been playing very nice chess. He missed some opportunities, but I'm impressed by his positional skills. He knows where to position the pieces. He did miss a couple of better opportunities, but he's a good player. But this last move, c5, that he played right here, it's a bad move, because this bishop should have been on c5 to hit the pawn on e3. He should have played rook d3, bishop c5, activate the king, play h5. And now Levy is thinking about ideas like rook h5, rook h2, maybe g5. Rook d3 could be a thing still. But suddenly, after quite a while, Levy feels hope. Yes, chess is a tough game. Somebody already wrote it in the chat. Bishop e7. Now Stefan improves the bishop to e7. He could have done it immediately. I suppose he wants to top g5 because the bishop on e7 is getting it. He could have done it before, like here. He could have played bishop e7 right here. And he wasted a tempi for bishop f8. And now he plays bishop e7. Levy plays very quickly bishop c3. It's still not over. Levy's fighting back. Now I think Levy is feeling much better than he was feeling half an hour ago or 40 minutes ago. He is normalizing the position. He's increasing the speed. He should be the better player when it comes to endgames. I absolutely believe it. Also, one of the ideas to me is maybe rook d3 with bishop d2. Shut it down. And then use the rooks to do something here. This is still not over. Levy's fighting back. What was Levy's peak rating? Maskirta Musk is asking on Twitch. To be honest, I do not remember. It was 24... 40 something? Maybe 50. I don't remember. It was definitely over 24. Because it is one of the requirements to get the IM. And he has the IM title. Another game, another draw. I think it's still too early to tell. Now Levy looks safer, but it still continues. There was, by the way, a question, I believe I missed it earlier. How long do I think Levy is gonna take to get to the GM title? My estimation would be a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. 2 years would be optimal. Another pawn. No. Listen, I think that Stefano here is going the wrong direction. Why would he position the pawns on the color of his own bishop? This is the endgame I was talking to you about. Now Levy is completely safe. There's no way he's gonna ever lose this position, even by just trading the rooks. These pawns might become targets. Now, actually, the question is, can Levy fight for something? I mean, he definitely senses that there is some sort of insecurity in Stefano's play when it comes to the endgames. The question is, can he find a way to capitalize on it? Because the position looks pretty locked. You're gonna see. Hey, I see I have fellow viewers who are watching me doing the commentary for Beal as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you. By the way, as already mentioned, my co-host of the Builders Festival, Angelica, she's also here in Spilimbergo. From time to time you can see her on screen because she's also a streaming her games. So I haven't mentioned this before, maybe today I mentioned it once, that she is somewhere on the screen a bit further. Doesn't really have a good tournament so far, but the tournament is tough. Levy is not really playing for the win, is he now? Like I already said, still too early to tell. It was looking much worse before, now it's looking okay. Why is Levy not playing e4? Vizor is asking on Twitch. There are reasons. Maybe I'm not gonna go into details. It's always tough. But there are reasons. So Levy plays b4, he's attempting to generate some targets. Yeah, of course, I mean, it could backfire if black is gonna take on b4, but he needs to create some targets here, fix those pawns. I think what Levy wants to do is to play b5, a4, a5. So let's say if his opponent is going to keep playing the passive way he's been playing, for example, h6, Levy wants to go here. He wants to go a4, a5, maybe lift the rook here to a file and try to do some damage. So why would he not play a4 immediately? Because Stefano already has kind of revealed his cards. Like he wants to lock down the queen side for good. And then, how does Levy make progress? So one thing you have to understand with Levy's last move b4, despite the fact that he was in trouble, despite the fact the position was looking really bad, he is still trying to win. He feels he is going to be the better player when it comes to the endgames. Keep faith in Levy.
Need to find some place to escape this cold.
The Art of Lions is saying, Coach Arthurs, do I consider the possibility that Levy makes draws, overthinks positions, and plays less good, but still amazing, of course, because while playing in back of his mind, he also hears his coach advising him, making it more difficult to play. I hope not. You know, I'm pretty positive. By the way, h6 was just played. I'm pretty positive that during the games, he is sometimes reminding himself some of the advice that I have given him. Yes, I'm sure about that. But I don't think it is influencing him to make the worst choices. I hope not. All right, h6. I think Levy's gonna play b5. There's no need to take on c5. This would be really bad. Activate Black's bishop and ruin the pawn structure for no good reason.
That's done.
So Levy's gonna play b5. b5's on the board. So the idea now is to play a4, a5. He can always ignore the rook on d3. Rook a1, a4, a5. It's still drawish, but Levy's trying to make things happen here. Levy might still win this. It looks very unlikely because the position is pretty closed. It still might happen. Keep faith. One thing I think what makes this Road to GM so exciting is that Levy is an inspiration for many. For many people to attempt to pursue their dreams. And for Levy, I mean, he is a very successful, the highest, the best, most successful content creator in chess. There's no question about it. So for him, one thing that he would like to still accomplish as a chess player is to get the highest output in chess, which is the jumps. So I think it's also very important for his viewers, for the community, to see him succeed, because he inspires other players not only to pick up chess, but work a bit harder on the goals and accomplish them. So I think it's really a wonderful story, not only about Levy's own GM title, but in general attempt to accomplish things that you could not before. Most likely Stefano is going to play king f7 because he just played h6 here. He played h6 so that the pawn on h7 is not dropping. So that's why this is necessary. But the difference in the endgames is pretty obvious. I think, look at this. This was the position a couple of moves ago. Stefano is misplaying it. So he put one pawn on the dark square of the bishop. He put the second pawn on the dark squares of the bishop. Then he put the third pawn on the dark squares of the bishop. While it maybe feels safer for you, but at the same time, this bishop is losing value because he's essentially staring in the face of all of those pawns. And on the contrary, this bishop becomes stronger because should the position open up, white can use the bishop to target these pawns. Think about some future g5 idea. Like, I remove the rooks off the board, I play g5, I play bishop e5, bishop b8, and start collect everything. King f7 is on the board. Can I beat Hikaru? There's a question on YouTube. I have beaten him once. Exactly once. And he has beaten me so many times that I want to forget. My score in online blitz games against Hikaru is just appalling. Mainly because he's a very... I mean, he's one of the best speechless players. With no increment. He would always flag me. That's how it goes. Okay, I'm fine with that. I have never played, by the way, against Hikaru over the board. I have played some games, online blitz games against Levy. Before we were cooperating, He was, I believe, streaming a couple of them. He was ranting a bit after I think I beat him a couple of times, but he has beaten me as well online. I'm not sure what's the score, but he has beaten me before. A4 has got to be the move. Right here. A4, A5, Rook A1, generate target. Let me draw you some scenario. So let's say Levy plays here. Ah, he maybe wants to make sure that Stefano cannot close the position. Maybe he can. But okay, let's imagine A4 is on the board. Let's imagine Stefano here plays, whatever, bishop f8. Levy's gonna play 5, Stefano stands up, does nothing. Levy goes here. Now this suddenly is kind of a problem. Stefano plays rook d7. Takes, takes. You need to open up the file. Levy plays rook a6. Stefano plays bishop d8. Levy plays maybe... What does he play? Maybe use the rook to crash through. Here, 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 here. Black is super solid. So the best maybe Levy could do is find a way the g-fire to work. Maybe here. Maybe not. So let me just show you an idea. I open up the position, put a pawn on g4 to fix those pawns, and then find a way to trade those rooks. Somehow use the bishop to eat the pawns. But as you can see, the position is pretty deadlocked. You see? This king is never gonna crash through. There's no way to crash through. So it feels like the position is still quite drawish. Rook a8, Stefano is getting ready to play a5. Alright. Levy corrected the black's rook on a8. Today are 2 games. Where I'm streaming from, Upendi is asking on Twitch. I'm streaming from close to the capital city of Riga. Of Latvia. I mean, Riga is the capital city of Latvia. So I'm in Latvia, I'm not in Italy. I'm not there. Alright. The only idea Levy can think of is to play a5. I suppose rook a1. Maybe a5 immediately. Otherwise, black is gonna shut the doors. Rook d1 or rook d2 could be a move. You know what I find it amazing? Is that Stefano never even attempted to land the rook on d3. Just saw no need. Because he did not see how he can capitalize on this outpost on d3. The position is equal. Yeah, I see. Burger Man on Twitch is saying minus 0.27 now. No, Levy is pushing. He is pushing. There's just difficult. It's difficult to crash through. By the way, the clock situation is about even. 13 minutes versus 16. Could have been worse. Levy, right after the opening, he made a couple of inaccuracies. He was in trouble. Angel would even say that he was losing. But And now here we are. We are in an endgame where Levy's pushing. Is it correct that older players are usually stronger in endgame? Eureka writes on YouTube. I think so. Because they have more experience. So, imagine this. You have played 200 games. I mean, I made this comparison. For example, a young player like Stefano. Again, like I already said, I have no idea how Stefano plays in endgames. So it's just a guess. Let's say a young player has played 200 classical games over the board. Not more, because he's just a young player. 180 games of those, they're gonna finish in a middle game, and 20 of those games are gonna end in an endgame. So this means his learning process from practical over-the-board games comes from only 20 games. And then you compare it to a more expensive player who has played not 200 games over the board, but 2,000. And with the same ratio, he has played 1,800 games in middle game and 200 in endgame. So essentially that's the difference, 200 games versus 20. Also the possibility to have studied more material in endgames, because in general, let me tell you this, youngsters do not play endgames. They do not like studying endgames. Okay, maybe there's some positive examples, but mainly they don't like it. So my advice to you, the viewers, if you would like to become better players and you're thinking about where to invest your time, I suggest to study endgames. One of my greatest books I keep recommending all the time. Yeah, it's probably getting pretty old already. Is this book?
Come on.
Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. There's also,
It worked.
I believe, Jeremy Silman's Endgame book. There's the 100 Endgames You Should Know. I believe also Chessable has digitalized a couple of those books in a digital version. Studied endgames. You know why? Because you can study any types of openings like Sicilian, Caro-Kann, French, Slav, whatnot. But most often they go to the endgames anyway. If the players are playing at a good level, the fighting goes to the endgame. And this is why it's gonna help you no matter what openings you play. Every single aspect of chess obviously is important. A5 is on the board. Yeah, Levy yet hasn't played it. There you go. There's a small delay. I do not think that Stefano here is gonna play a6, because it kind of contradicts the way he was playing this game. Like, it just looks so risky. B takes at a6, rook a6, a takes on b6, rook b6, and rook a1. Okay, the position is pretty level, but now White is finding ways to crash through. Of course, Black is super solid, the pawn on c5 is protected, but there are ideas for White. So I don't think a6 is going to happen. And Stefano could play something like bishop d8. Or maybe take it and play a6. No, I'm not sure. There's a question by Yibak Saku. What is the process of hiring a player to seek out a coach who can take them to the next level? Meaning, what kind of topics we talk about? Usually, more advanced stuff. I mean, probably the right answer would be, what's the difference between IM and GM? And we talk about those differences. So in general, GMs are slightly better at everything. They slightly better calculate. We are gonna talk on that. How to improve the calculation. They have slightly deeper understanding about some certain positions. We are working on that. Maybe sometimes, but not necessarily always, they have the better openings. So we are working on that as well. And psychology-wise, I'm not sure. So it's small differences overall. And it's not that big difference. For example, the difference between IM and GM, and for example, Candidate Master to IM. I think that's pretty huge. So IM is going to be much stronger than the Candidate Master. IM and GM very often they're quite similar. But it's just those small nuances, smarter choices, practice, that makes the difference. Levy has the talent. He has the correct attitude towards work. So that's why I'm sure that he's going to make it. Levy has a nice imagination as well. By the way, somebody mentioned that maybe on a different context, but do all GMs try to hide their openings when they play online? Midvid is asking on Twitch. Yeah. There are players who are creating incognito accounts and practicing the openings online. That is a problem. Everything nowadays is available. You for example, let's say I am studying a new opening, like I want to play Nido. So I buy Chessable course, Giri's Nido of course, and I want to go out and start crushing everything. The problem is, I do not feel, meaning I do not feel it, I have no practice. So where do I practice those games? I go online. So I play online, for example, I go to chess.com, play a lot of games against very strong players, I get my practice, the feeling. There's the problem. Those games are available online immediately. So if I'm gonna play in a very important tournament against a very highly competitive player, what do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna type in Google my first name and last name and chess.com. He's gonna find all my games. He's like, aha, you've been practicing Nidorf lately. Aha, so you're playing this. Let me run an engine and prepare against you. The element of surprise is gone. That's why it's pretty popular thing that you practice incognito. So you create an incognito account and you practice specifically your openings. This is pretty standard practice. By the way, I do not do it myself. I play all my games on the same accounts. I always have my first and last name. I don't care. If you want to study those games, be my guest. I don't mind it. So, Stefano is thinking on the clock situation it's pretty equal. I think that Levy still has chances to win this game because he's the better player in games. And Stefano is a bit passive. This is something I told Levy before the game, is that Stefano at moments he tends to become a bit passive, maybe because of the high respect for the opponents. I'm pretty sure that Stefano knows who Levy is. Maybe he has even watched some of Levy's videos, follows his channel, maybe he's a fan, I don't know. But everybody knows who Levy is in chess world. So, Levy's fighting back. And I think the biggest problem here for Stefano is to understand what to do next. Push a6, take on a5, be passive. What do I do? Maybe to you the position feels quite simple. It's still not simple. a6, by the way, wow. Wow. I did not expect this. That's a surprise. Rook a1 immediately responded by Levy. B takes on a5. Very quickly, the players are increasing their pace. Rook a5 is a move. Bishop a5 is a move. b6 is a move. So they start to play a bit faster. Maybe b6 is a move. b6, bishop a5, and rook b1. Create a fast pawn. Why not? Would I blame Levy if he would agree to draw? No, of course not. But Levy is not gonna make a quick draw. You know, he's a fighter. He wants to win. And probably he also expects that his chat would not forgive him for not trying. But I think he mainly thinks about himself. That he wants to turn around the way this tournament has been going, so... By the way, for the first time since the very beginning, the engine bar says that white is slightly better. I assume it's because of the b6 move. Alright. Speaking about kids and young talents, King b3.
So cold.
Wow. What a move.
Just want to lay down for a bit.
What a move. I did not expect this move, but it looks pretty interesting. So Levy positionally sacrifices the pawn. I like it. He wants to connect the other rook.
Come on.
I like his chances. That's a brilliant move. So his idea is here to put the king on c4. And the king is a piece. And then use the other rook to lift it, collect the pawn on a5, and then use this pawn to push it to queens. This bishop is pretty bad. But again, you need to check some c4 checks here. c4 check, activate the rook, king a4, bishop b4, rook c2, rook b1. It can get really spicy, really quick. I like what he's doing. Levy is fighting for the victory here. I see also Henry on YouTube suggests that what if Levy played king b3 here? I didn't consider this move. Now that I see it, Levy has a realistic chance here, the viewers. I don't care what the bar says. He has a chance. There's a suggestion this looks like a draw. I disagree. It looked like a draw before. Now Levy's making a claim. And he has more time on the clock. I'm starting to believe that Levy can do it. Rook b8 is played. I suppose king a4. King a4 takes c4. What is this position? King a4 takes c4.
I'm so cold.
Ah, look at the bar. Look at the bar. So this extra pawn doesn't matter. The king on a4 is feeling really nice. Maybe some rook d1, bishop b4, rook c2. So black is up a pawn, but what does it matter? They're weak. Look at the bar. Black is up a pawn and he's in trouble. This is the difference in understanding of the endgames. I hope it's gonna happen. King a4 is on the board. Looks very promising. Levy's feeling his chance. I'm actually quite puzzled that the engine says that this is somehow slightly better for black. Visually, I like Levy's position more. I like it more. Stefano under serious pressure here.
Life out here.
Do you believe, chat, that Levy is gonna do it? I start to believe that he's gonna do it. The entire game is going to that direction. I've been in this situation too many times, and I can sense moments when the player loses the control of the game, and this is what the engine bar is never gonna tell you. Stefano is feeling fire here. He's not sure. The bar slightly forced for some reason him. I don't buy this. I think Levy's becoming a favorite in this game. Don't be surprised if after a couple of moves, the bar is gonna jump in favor for white. Why is this? Levy's playing essentially an extra piece. The king on a4 is a piece. Compared to king on f7, which is a bystander, this king on a4, the king is not only something you have to protect, it's something you can use as a piece to do good. Levy knows this. Nathan Shively is asking, why did Levy not arrive in Spilimbergo earlier? I suppose avoid the jet lag. We had this question a couple of times. Would you believe me if I would tell you he had reasons? Not always you can do everything that you want to do. I'm sure there was something preventing him to coming here earlier. Levy is a very busy person. Let's see what Stefano is gonna do. 4 minutes for the young Italian player. So he takes on b5, he takes on b5, execute very quickly. Levy forms a pass pawn. Well, how do you defend this position? By the way, I would like to mention bishop a5 in some lines would be catastrophic idea. Rook a5, rook a5, rook a8 check. You blundered the rook at a1. But I don't think this pawn here really matters. I do not think so. Levy feels he has a chance. Now this is really a good feeling, especially when you felt that your position is so bad in the middle of the game. He was very depressed. He managed to fight back. And now he feels that he's the better player in the endgame. He feels that his opponent is not feeling the position. Rook b7 is played. There goes up the bar. I told you this is gonna happen. Levy is still not obviously winning, but Stefano here is very passive. Levy's taking over the game. How about something like rook d2, rook b1? And for black, it is getting really difficult to play this position. You're probably wondering, wait a second, I mean, black is up a pawn. It should be important, right? Not always. What matters is the piece activity. Actually, I think rook d2 is a very easy move. This rook is not doing anything. Rook b1 also could be a move. I would just grab the d file before my opponent starts to have some funny ideas about it. By the way, I was just checking the engine. What engine is saying here for black? The engine said here, Stefano had to play rook d8. Ignore the pawn. And after b6, play rook d3. And stay at equal position. It makes no sense. Because why would you ignore the pawn on b6? And it will be completely the other direction
Freezing.
where Stefano was paying his attention. He didn't pick it up. And that's why the bar goes immediately up for white. Rook d2 Levy, you gotta pick it up. Rook b1.
It's terrifying.
Don't like this. I would have taken the d file first. Why is he not taking the d file? Maybe he treats that rook d8 is not going to cap it anyway. He's going to play b6, king b5, crash through. Not sure I like this move. Maybe there was something that Levy didn't like about rook d2. Maybe something like rook d8, or rook d8, bishop d8. And Levy didn't see the progress, but to be honest, it feels really great. Like rook d1, bishop b6, rook d6, rook c6, bishop a5. White is cruising. Now this is a minor missed opportunity for Levy. I do not like this move.
Die here.
But again, it's very strictly, most likely linked to the rook d8. There you go, do it again. Rook d2, take over the d file. Stefano is attempting to protect the pawn on a5. It does not matter. This pawn actually is something that black would love to give up. Why? Because he would have some counterplay. It's meaningless. But again, Stefano's idea is to play bishop b6, c4, and hit the pawn on e3. Rook d2 is on the board. Levy's pressing. I suppose bishop b6, rook d6, c4, and somehow protect the pawn here. Maybe it could be something like bishop b6, rook d6, c4, bishop d4, take it, and rook d4. Could be. We're gonna see. Bishop b6 is on the board. Rook d6, I think it should be played. Maybe there's some other ideas for white, I'm not sure. Could be also an opportunity at some point to play g5 and use the fact that this bishop on d8 no longer is guarding the g5 square. No, Levy plays rook d6 immediately.